Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty well today. Once again, my recording started a little bit late, so it cut off the first part of my intro, so I'm just going to be doing it here in voiceover when I'm editing. Basically, normal intro things. This is going to be a tutorial for the startup for the Tomcat from the pilot seat. So we'll just get right into the video now. Sorry about this. Today, I got another tutorial video for you. This one will be about a ground startup for the ground pilot startup, I should say, for the F-14 Tomcat. I'm in the mission editor first because I want to show you one thing that's might be kind of important. One, you put the Tomcat in if you are doing that. Hopefully, if you're playing on servers, they've already done this. They probably have, but might not have. I would recommend coming over here. So you go the armament page, go on all the way here. That's aircraft additional properties. And this says INS reference alignment stored. You want to check that. So it already has your INS alignment stored. So it takes not a very long time to align it. Instead of having to wait, I don't even know how many minutes it is. It's several minutes to align it. Normally, if you don't have that checked, in real life, it would basically be if you parked the aircraft and didn't move it between subsequent startups, then you could do that. But if you're on a carrier, obviously you can't do that because the ship is moving. But it also doesn't matter because you're going to be using the ship's data link to do that anyway. So I'll do that probably in another video, show you the carrier startup. But anyway, I will be right back once we're in the mission, and then we will get this thing started up. Alright, so we are now on the ground in our cold and dark Tomcat in the pilot seat. First thing that we will do is connect ground power and air power. So you open your radio menu, go to ground crew, click ground electric power, click on.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Copy.
Wait for them to say copy. Same thing, ground air supply.
Ground power is now on.
Connect ground air supply.
Chief, connect ground air supply. Copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
So you can hear that ground air is on now. So first thing or next thing that we will do is we will come down here. What I like to do first is turn our oxygen on. I'll set our TACAN, turn that on, turn our radios on, adjust volumes for things. Then we will tell Jester, we'll open the Jester AI menu, tell him to start up.
You got it.
And he's going to tell us the armor injection seat in a second, which normally you would probably wait.
Com check. Can you hear me?
Over the menu, loud and clear.
Okay.
I'll just wait and we'll see. We'll just arm it. Injection seat.
I'm closing the canopy.
And then he'll close the canopy. Make sure your hands are away from the rails so that you don't lose your fingers. That's important.
Ready to start.
Alright, now we will come down here. This switch that says engine crank. Right click that, set that to right. We will start monitoring this. That starts to get up. To about 20% RPM. You hear that tone, you move your throttle forward, and then that will start to spool up. Temperatures are starting to rise. You can come over here, set your lights as needed. I'm not going to do that, it's daytime. We'll just wait for this one to spool up all the way. Actually, what you can do if you want to do it faster is you can see this it stays over to the right side, but it'll recenter itself after it gets to like 60% RPM, and then you can start it. But it's already settled now at about, what's that, like 68% or something like that. So click that over to left. Same thing, wait for this to spool up to about 20% RPM. Alright, move our left throttle to idle. And then we can, while that spools up, we'll watch that come up, we'll watch our temperature rise. And while that's doing that, what we can do is our automatic flight control systems, which is this panel, their stability augmentation is what I meant to say. Pitch, roll, and yaw. Turn all those on. Then we can start moving up here. Radio altimeter, scroll this all the way around. I'd like to set it to about 500 feet. You can left click and hold to test that. Set our pressure altimeter. I want to zero that out. Press and hold right click to get rid of that standby flag. Left click on this to uncage your standby ADI. You can set your bingo to whatever you need it to be. I like to zero out my I don't even know what that's called. Accelerometer, that's what it is, okay. Now, for this panel here, our displays panel, we want to turn the VDI, HUD, and HSD/ECM on. You can leave this on destination. Normally takeoff, you'll set the HUD mode to take off, but you can also just go through these: cruise, air-to-air, air-to-ground, and landing. I like to actually just leave it in landing so that I get this velocity vector here. And one other thing we'll do is we'll come over here to where it says HSD, and we'll left click this down to TID, so we are getting a mirror of Jester's display. I don't know if you can hear that, him clicking away, typing in coordinates. You can see that here. And you can see this carrot's going to start moving along here, so we just need to wait until that gets there, and then Jester will tell us ready to taxi. Another thing you want to do is you want to turn your Sidewinder cooling on and your missile prep on. If you have missiles, which we do, we have a Sidewinder there, and we have a Phoenix under that. You need those on so that you can fire your missiles. Also, you can set gun rate to whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to leave it on low. Additionally, like I said, lights, we can also turn our ANARA 63 data link power switch on. I think that's data link, pretty sure. Hi, it's Editing Whisper again. Disregard that. That ANARA 63 is not the data link. The data link controls are exclusively in the back seat. That is the instrument carrier landing system. So if you were landing on a carrier at night, you have ILS, whatever channel it's set to, like 11, 12, whatever. There's a dial on that. You can set it to that. And additionally, that needs to be on if you're going to be doing a automatic carrier landing. So sorry, I was wrong about that. I double checked that. Just wanted to clear that up here. Anyway, we'll back to the video now. Also, now what we can do is we can turn our go to ground crew, ground electric power off.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
You can disconnect
Chief,
ground air as well.
Ground air supply.
And all this off because we'll hear it. There we go. And then we will turn our air conditioner on. So you want to go through cycle left engine, right engine, and both engines. I just leave it on both. You don't have to do that, but I like to do it for the sake of realism. And if you want to be really realistic about it, when you're refueling, you want to set this to left engine only for your bleed air, because otherwise, when you inevitably have some fuel spraying over from the probe, which comes out right there,
Ready to taxi.
it'll get sucked into the right engine, and that bleed, and then you'll be inhaling jet fuel fumes. Alright, so Jester has said ready to taxis. This is all done. We can set this back to nav. You also want to set this, if you have full rounds of ammunition, you want to set this to 670. Because that's about how many rounds? Like 668 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what, but 670 roughly. Or maybe, I forget exactly the number. It's roughly 670. Just set it to that. One other thing, we'll do wing sweep. What you want to do is move this to about 68 degrees right there. Let it sit there for a few seconds, like 10 seconds or so. Then move this all the way forward, right click to depress that, close the cover with a left click, press master reset. Wings will go out, and then you can press and hold to bring these back. One more thing I will talk about real quick, because we're basically ready to taxi, and that's essentially the end of the startup. But I will just talk about briefly when you would use the different wing sweeps. When you are on the ground, have your wings swept all the way back. If you're on a carrier deck, then you want to set them to emergency. To do that, you will lift this up, wait a few seconds, and then you can... I'll just wait, it's not ready to do that just yet. Wait for the flag there. I can sweep that back. And then the wings will go all the way back. You can see they're over the stabs, so that you have... so the wings, it's the most narrow that your wingspan can be, so it fits on the carrier deck better and you're less likely to hit things. So that's called oversweep is what it is. But any other time on the ground, wings back unless you are taking off. When you're in the air, leave them in auto basically all the time. Unless you are bombing, have them in bomb mode. If you are refueling, also put them in bomb mode. When you are entering the pattern to land, so you are before the break, you have them swept all the way back to 68 degrees. Once you're in the break and you get to like 300 knots, then you'll press auto. But that's about it. Most of the time, leave them in auto mode, and they'll just do what they're supposed to do anyway. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully you found this useful, like I said. If you want to consider subscribing, I would greatly appreciate that. I will be doing a follow-up video for this, for how to do the startup from the Rio cockpit, and additionally I'll probably do one about starting up in the on the carrier, which is exactly the same from the pilot perspective. There's one thing that's different, I think, in the Rio cockpit, so I'll probably actually just talk about that in that video. But anyway, hopefully you found this helpful, and you have a good one.